Inside the ambulance, Cam makes a shocking decision. Realizing they cannot reach a hospital in time, she prepares to perform emergency surgery inside the moving vehicle. It is reckless and dangerous. Movie starts with Will Sharp, a decorated U.S. Marine veteran, struggling to survive civilian life while trying to keep his family together. His wife, Amy, needs an experimental surgery that insurance refuses to cover, and every phone call he makes ends the same way, with automated responses and indifferent supervisors. Will stays calm on the surface, but the pressure is crushing him from the inside. He served his country, believing sacrifice meant something, but now the system treats him like a number. Bills pile up, time runs out, and the reality becomes unavoidable that honesty and patience will not save Amy's life. Will loves his wife and newborn son more than anything, and that love pushes him toward a decision he never wanted to make. Will reaches out to Danny Sharp, his adoptive brother, a man he cut ties with long ago. Danny lives comfortably in the criminal world of Los Angeles, surrounded by loud people, fast money, and constant chaos. When Will arrives to meet him, the difference between them is obvious. Will is controlled, quiet, and uncomfortable, while Danny is dominant, confident, and energized by disorder. Danny listens to Will's problem, but quickly dismisses the idea of a simple loan, instead offering something far larger and far more dangerous, a $32 million bank robbery scheduled for the same day. Danny presents it like a business opportunity, claiming it is clean, fast, and almost risk-free. All Will has to do is drive. But Will knows Danny's life is built on lies and violence, and he immediately resists. Danny begins manipulating the situation, reminding Will of their shared childhood, loyalty, and the sacrifices family makes for each other. He frames the robbery as Will's only real option, pushing the idea that the world already abandoned him, so rules no longer matter. Will argues back, saying he left that life behind for a reason. But desperation weakens his resolve. Amy's surgery cost hangs over every word, and Danny senses it, slowly breaking Will down until the choice feels less like crime and more like survival. Will finally agrees, convincing himself this is one last step into darkness before returning to the light. Danny's crew prepares for the robbery, and while Danny treats it like another job, Will is visibly tense. Every step feels wrong to him. Inside the bank, everything initially goes according to plan until Zach walks in, unaware that a robbery is in progress. His presence instantly destabilizes the situation. Guns are raised, hostages panic, and control begins slipping. Police response is faster than expected, and a gunfight erupts. Members of Danny's crew are killed or arrested, and the robbery collapses within minutes. Will and Danny escape into the parking garage, but the damage is already done. During the chaos, Will struggles with a police officer, and in a moment of panic, accidentally shoots Zach. The injury is serious, and Will freezes, shocked by what he has done. Danny forces him to keep moving, reminding him that stopping now means death or prison. But Will cannot ignore the consequences. This is no longer a robbery. It is a moral line crossed that cannot be erased. Sirens close in. Helicopters arrive, and with police blocking all exits, Danny makes a desperate move that changes everything. An ambulance arrives to treat the wounded Zach, driven by Cam, and Danny hijacks it without hesitation, forcing Cam into the back with her patient, while Will takes the wheel. Suddenly, the people meant to save lives are trapped inside a vehicle being used as a weapon. Cam immediately assesses Zach's condition and realizes he will not survive without immediate surgery, but the ambulance cannot stop, and every second increases the risk. Will drives under Danny's commands, guilt and fear colliding inside him as the city erupts into pursuit. Captain Monroe takes command of the police response, treating the situation like a tactical operation rather than a negotiation. She orders roadblocks, air surveillance, and coordinated pressure, determined to end the chase quickly. From her perspective, this is no longer just a robbery. It is a rolling hostage situation with a wounded officer inside. As the chase escalates, Danny contacts Poppy, a powerful criminal figure with deep resources, offering millions in exchange for help. Poppy agrees, unleashing a wave of diversions, including fake ambulances, armed decoys, and explosives. Los Angeles descends further into chaos. Police units crash, officers are injured, and Monroe herself is wounded during the mayhem. The line between control and collapse blurs as the city struggles to contain one runaway ambulance. Inside the ambulance, Cam makes a shocking decision. Realizing they cannot reach a hospital in time, she prepares to perform emergency surgery inside the moving vehicle. It is reckless and dangerous, but it is the only option. Will offers to help, revealing his military medical training. This moment marks a shift in their dynamic. Cam stops seeing Will as just another criminal, and Will finally acts on his conscience, working to save the very life he almost took. Danny watches impatiently, Frustrated by delays, despite the madness outside, Cam successfully stabilizes Zach during surgery, an incredible feat under impossible conditions. Poppy's plan reaches its peak when explosive-filled decoy vehicles are sent into the police perimeter, creating massive destruction and pushing the chase to its breaking point. Eventually, Will and Danny reach Poppy's hideout, believing they have found temporary safety, but the alliance collapses instantly. Poppy demands that Cam and Zach be handed over, seeing them as loose ends. Will refuses outright, drawing a clear line he will not cross. Danny hesitates, caught between loyalty to Will and fear of losing control. The standoff explodes into violence as Will and Danny turn on Poppy and his crew, killing them to protect Cam and Zach. But this decision seals their fate completely. In the chaos, Cam accidentally shoots Will while defending herself, a tragic mistake that leaves Will bleeding and weak. When Danny learns the truth, his fragile control shatters. Convinced Cam betrayed them, Danny spirals into rage and despair, threatening to kill her and himself on live television rather than surrender. Law enforcement regains control of the situation. As federal agencies join the pursuit, the chase shifts from pure chaos to containment. Helicopters track every move, freeways are shut down, and the public watches the unfolding disaster live on television. Inside the ambulance, Cam confronts Danny verbally, refusing to be intimidated. She reminds him that Will is dying, and that every second wasted on threats brings him closer to losing his brother forever. Danny listens, but twists her words, claiming that everyone has always tried to control him, including Will. Will weakly intervenes, telling Danny that this path was never about family, it was about ego. This moment hits Danny harder than gunfire because it comes from the one person whose respect he still craves. The ambulance enters the final phase of the chase, weaving through blocked streets and industrial areas. Police vehicles box it in carefully, avoiding direct collision because Zach and Will are still alive inside. Danny announces his intention to end everything publicly, using Cam as leverage to keep officers back. Negotiations begin, but Danny controls the conversation, taunting law enforcement, rejecting every offer. In a sudden and decisive moment, Will raises his weapon and shoots Danny in the back, ending the threat instantly. Danny collapses, shocked more than angry, and with his last breath he apologizes to Will, acknowledging that Will was always stronger and better than him. The chaos stops immediately. Will is critically injured and taken into custody while being rushed into surgery. Danny dies at the scene from his injuries. The situation that began as a bank robbery officially concludes as a homicide and hostage case. Will undergoes surgery under guard. Zach recovers in the hospital after emergency surgery. When questioned by police, he gives a clear statement that Will helped save his life during the chase. Cam leaves the hospital without seeking attention or recognition. She returns to her regular duties shortly after. The movie ends with Will in custody, Danny dead, Zach alive, and Cam returning to work. If this video touched you even a little, please like and subscribe. It truly helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching.